everyone. It is Monday, August 12th, 2024. We are in beautiful Minneapolis, Minnesota in the United States of America. We're going to be going for a walk around the city for a little bit tonight. Glad to have you all here. I hope you enjoy the views that we will see today. We are currently here at XL Energy Water Power Park underneath the 3rd Street Central Avenue Bridge, which just opened about a year ago now, reopened about a year ago. It was under reconstruction for about a year and a half for renovations. Glad to have this nice bridge back. This is a gorgeous spot to hang out in if you are ever in Minneapolis, right here on the Mississippi River and the St. Anthony Falls. Incredible views of downtown Minneapolis. Let's go ahead and start walking around. I see Ancan Mario in the chat. Good to see you again. Hope you're having a nice day today. Looks like the horizon might be a little off on the gimbal here, so I might have to recalibrate this in a moment, but we'll see. Yeah, the views in this spot is one of my favorite spots in the city, especially now that the Stone Arch Bridge is closed for the next year or so. But the views of the city from here are just phenomenal. As you can see, these people up here are enjoying it. I don't know how it is not packed down here every day, because it is such a beautiful place, such a great place to sit and hang out. Sorry, I think I got in your shot there. These are the St. Anthony Falls. And the beautiful Mississippi River we're looking at right now. Stone Arch Bridge. I'm going to stop for a brief moment just to balance this out. So I apologize if it gets shaky for a moment. Just a second here. Let me at least give you a decent view to shake you around on. There we go. Sometimes I'll watch these videos back, and like the horizon will be a little bit of a Dutch angle. I'm like, oh my goodness, how did anybody watch that? Hopefully it's next. Hey, WDZU, going great today. Had a wonderful work day. Hey there, sorry, my mic dropped off. Hey, WDZU. Had a great day today. Hope you did as well. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, very excited, happy to be out walking around. Probably gonna head towards downtown and we'll see more over that way. Ancan says, is this man-made dam or natural falls? So it is a naturally occurring fall. I do think there have been some man-made adjustments to it to control the flow a little bit. But St. Anthony Falls, in some extent here, has existed for a very long time, prior to man-made changes. And they have this part closed off as well. You can see all the water and the logs and whatnot getting diverted to there.
Yeah, because my first one, we were best friends.
We're now heading towards St. Anthony, Maine, which is the east side of the Mississippi. Really nice historic area in Minneapolis, lots of old brick buildings, old brick road. Oh, Rocket Girl says Twins game in Target Field right now, in case you're interested. I am, I do have that on my mind. Yeah, part of the plan is to hopefully walk up there. I'll have a bunch of things I was wanting to see tonight, so I'll definitely prioritize going towards downtown and potentially Target Field if I can get there before the game lets out. I know when I left my house it was like the second inning, so should be plenty of time. This guy just having a peaceful day out, dropping some hooks in the water. Royce Lewis is decimating the Royals. Love to see it. I think the Twins got a new pitcher or something, if I read correctly. Hopefully they do well and make the playoffs and have a good run this year. I haven't been to a baseball game yet this year. I had talked about going to a, what's the one in St. Paul? St. Paul Saints game. Katie Pat, happy Monday. Yeah, absolutely gorgeous day. Top tier Minneapolis summer night. Not hot, maybe like the 70s or so, no humidity, no wind. What more do you need in life? Ooh, it's the top of the sixth, so you've got some time left, Rocket Girl says regarding the Twins baseball game. I don't know, the games go pretty fast now, don't they, with the changes to, there was like a pitching rule or something they changed recently. I should definitely be able to make it to the stadium at least before it's over. And if I do miss it, there'll at least be people around. Tom Porter Jr. says, ever been to a Vikings game? Yes, I went to one game last year. Went to the Vikings and 49ers game with some friends of mine from work. Had a great time out there. And then I think I went to a Vikings 49ers preseason game a few years back. Always a fun time there at that stadium. It's a really cool spot. Considering going there this weekend to go see Metallica's playing at US Bank Stadium. I was talking to some people about that last week, but we'll see. I still haven't bought tickets or anything yet. I wish I would have lived here when the Vikings were playing at the college stadium, TCF Bank or Huntington Bank, the University of Minnesota Stadium. But unfortunately, I was still in the Bay Area at that time. And those looked cool, like the outdoor games in Sorry, the lapel mic is not wanting to stick today. We'll see. Yeah, when they were doing the Minnesota Vikings games at the TCF Bank, Huntington Bank, the college stadium, those look like fun because they're doing the outdoor games in the middle of winter. So they'd have, I think there was like a famous or notorious Vikings Seahawks game there where, close your ears if you're a Vikings fan. I think they missed a field goal or something, and it was like one of the colder games on record. They had some last second field goal miss, but those outdoor games in the bitter cold are something special. I was able to go to, at the Allianz Field, the Minnesota United Stadium, there was a U.S. soccer game a few years back. I think it was for like the last World Cup cycle, where they had they played a soccer game outdoors in February. I don't know whose idea this was, but it was like, I want to say like 10 degrees outside or something, and wind chill in the single digits. Absolutely miserable. Someone lost their Yankees hat. So we are walking onto Nicollet Island right now. Here on the right, you have this old building, the historic Nicollet Island Inn. This beautiful old hotel. Looks like it's got a nice little restaurant there on the first floor, but I've never been in there, so I can't vouch for it. I was just thinking the other day how I wanted to hopefully get in there at some point and spend a night at that hotel. And then Nicollet Island Pavilion, very popular wedding and event venue. When I think of Nicollet Island Pavilion and right here on Nicollet Island, I always think of when Amy Klobuchar was running for president in, is that 2016 or 2020? And she announced her candidacy in the middle of February. Must have been 2019. And it was just dumping snow, freezing cold. It was just this like very peak Minnesota moment. I think at that point I had never been to Nicollet Island before. If any of you watching live or watching along in the future are friends with developers at Prism, let them know that we streamers need capability to zoom in to 3x with the iPhone 15 capability. Because right now it gives you the option of 1x or 2x, but that extra zoom's so nice. The capabilities of the iPhone 15 for a handheld cell phone camera are very wonderful. So I'm realizing how similar this walk is to where I went last week when I did a live what was that? I think last Tuesday. It was more of happy hour time, but around that time took a very similar but the opposite route to this. Not intentionally going to the same places. We'll see. I do have more time tonight, so I should be able to stream for a good amount of time. If you are interested in seeing Nicollet Island, I do have a video from about 2 years ago, walking around, seeing all the homes here on Nicollet Island, exploring this area. So that's a cool one to look at if you want to see that at some point. It is a beautiful spot. I want to say there's some sort of deal with the city where the land's going to be handed over to the city after X amount of years, but I don't know the specifics of it. All right, heading over the Hennepin Avenue bridge towards downtown Minneapolis. You can see the back of the Grain Belt beer cap. So we're looking north on the Mississippi River. Rocket Girl says 7th inning starting right now. And if they're winning, it'll probably only go to the top of the 9th. All right. I really don't like when I walk too fast on these. I feel like I walked too fast last week. It's hard to watch for me when I try to rewatch them at home. But I might have to get a little pep in my step to get to that baseball stadium in time. We'll at least see activity around the stadium. Yeah, it is just an incredible night here on the Mississippi River. On summer nights like this, I wonder how this city isn't more populated and how there aren't more people in Minneapolis. And then December through April hits, and I remember exactly why. It's tough to live through. Hennepin Avenue. You can see the lights in the distance from the theaters. Really looking forward to walking through the theater district tonight. I think over this weekend there was a street art festival on Nicollet Mall, and I'd like to go look at some of that chalk art and that street art while it's still out. I don't even know if it's still there, but that was Saturday and Sunday. Did not have a chance to make it out, but I did have a great weekend. Rocket Girl says, take your time, no rush. Thank you, thank you. That's the good thing about Twins games, is if we do miss it tonight, they play 162 games a year. What is that, 81 games here, plus playoffs. A lot of chances to see them play baseball. Yes, they must be leaving on either Tuesday or Wednesday. So if they're playing today, they probably have a 3-game series. I think they typically play 3 or 4 games. So they'll probably play till Wednesday. And then there's Smashing Pumpkins and Green Day on Saturday at Target Field. And then Metallica playing both Friday and Sunday at US Bank Stadium. There was just announced today. So opening for Metallica on Saturday, or on Friday at US Bank Stadium is Pantera, who's having their reunion tour, their first tour back in decades since their guitarist died, or was, I think, murdered. He is, I don't know who's playing. I think Zakk Wylde might be playing guitar for them now or something, but they're doing this tour, and then they're playing US Bank Stadium, which is a massive stadium. And then today, First Ave announced a concert by a surprise show on Thursday night by a band called CFH. They're not advertising who it is. It says CFH, and the logo is oddly similar to the Pantera Cowboys from Hell logo. So the speculation is that it is a very not good secret that it's going to be Pantera playing at First Ave on Thursday night. So let's see if I can get tickets to that one. I'll probably prioritize tickets to that over Metallica or Green Day. We got TV Cabral News in the chat. Parabéns pelo video lindas. Yeah, thank you from São Paulo, Brazil. Hope you're having a great day in São Paulo. Place I've never been, but I've seen through streams and would love to actually visit someday. Hey. Yeah, it's called Walking Minnesota.
You're on Twitch or?
YouTube. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. You want to say hi?
I'll check it out.
We got the security guard over here saying hi.
Oh.
Walking Minnesota? Like walking with your
bet.
feet? Minnesota, the state? Yeah. Thank you. Twins are playing the Rangers in Arlington on Friday after the Royals series. Fun. When I used to work at sports bars or at bars where we'd have TVs on and you know, you have the locals hanging out, everybody's chatting you up, and a lot of people like to watch sports, so we'd always have sports on TVs and stuff like that. And whenever when I was doing that, I was a lot more in tune with what was going on in the sports scene in Minnesota. 'Cause you're always chatting with people at the bar about the games and what's going on, and now I kind of get a reminder of that experience with Rocket Girl here, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I don't have the visual of having the game on, but always can now have more of a look into that world that I'm not as in touch with as much. Dalia Almeida Marcos says, I hope everything is going okay with you. Yeah, everything is going wonderful for me. I am so happy in life and pleased with so much that's going on right now. So hopefully keeping this positive energy and keeping good things going and keep building on what's going well in my life, keep working on what needs to be improved and living the best life we can. Juan Mora says, how far is US Bank Stadium from the North Loop? So you consider North Loop to be like right up here, you know, maybe 2-3 blocks up, you're really in the heart of North Loop. US Bank Stadium is about 6 blocks that way. So a good mile and a half walk. If you are looking to ride, if you can ride a bike, if that's something you're able to do, there's these Lime bikes on the street corners. You can rent a bike, ride that up really easily. You can walk, it can be a long walk, but not super unreasonable, maybe 20-30 minutes. The Wells Fargo building reflecting off of IDS Tower. But yeah, it is it's definitely walkable from North Loop to US Bank Stadium. There's a bus line going right down Washington, which takes you from the heart of North Loop to a block from the stadium. If you're on the Target Field side of North Loop, you can hop on the light rail train, take that right down to the stadium. Lots of options. And I think there's quite a bit of parking around the stadium, but if you're gonna park in those coveted areas, you're gonna pay for it. Hey, Juan Mora is moving to Minneapolis in 5 days. Hey, congrats, that's awesome to hear. I hope you love it here. Hopefully someday I'll be walking around and run into you. We are looking at a beautiful Minneapolis Central Library by Cesar Pelli. The Hennepin County Central Library, I should say. Really a cool building if you ever have a chance to go in there. One of my favorites in the city. Cesar Pelli also designed the Wells Fargo Tower. It's kind of the Art Deco looking, the modern Art Deco building here in the city. This is Hennepin Ave, entering that entertainment district kind of area. If they're running, I'm running. I was riding my bike around here on, I think, Saturday night. I thought about streaming the bike ride, But I didn't know if that would be if that would be good, if that would be safe. Like, would I be riding safely or paying too much attention to the chat? I do plan to stream some, because it's a bit easier for me to hop on my bike than it is for me to come down and walk around sometimes. So I was considering doing some of these evening streams via bike. So maybe here in the coming days I can strap the gimbal onto my bike and ride around at night for a bit. Take you guys around the city via the bike infrastructure for an hour or so. Look at that. Both directions, Metro Transit trains right now. Yeah, so that is the Warehouse District station. The next station would be Target Field, which is currently the station that serves North Loop. And I think even if they do the Blue Line expansion, that'll probably still be the closest to a majority of North Loop. And then 3 stops down is going to be US Bank Stadium. Very quiet night tonight compared to what it was like out here on, I don't know if it was Saturday or Sunday that I was out. I think it was Saturday. Whenever there was a Vikings game. I didn't go to the game, but I came downtown. I recorded that bike video in Northeast. And then I went to Government Center because they were doing early voting there. So I went to go vote there. So we have primaries going on right now. And when I was downtown, I saw all these people walking around with Vikings gear on, and I was like, oh, all these people wearing purple, let's go see what's going on. Walked over to the stadium. I love being in the crowd, part of the crowd, seeing what everybody's up to. And when I was walking around there was just tons of people out, and then I ran into this booth from Johnny Pops, which is this local popsicle company, and they were giving away free popsicles. So I got walked up to this football game, didn't go in, but got a free popsicle. So that's a win for me. I love treats. Juan Morris says, is the US Bank Stadium in a safe area, if you can comment about that? Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think that part of Minneapolis, there's not a ton going on. There is pretty active. I mean, there's a couple offices right there. There's a stadium. Anytime there's an event at the stadium, there's so much security and so much policing and so much going on that, I mean, you're always, anytime you're in a crowd, you're at risk for pickpocketing or whatever could happen, but I think it's pretty unlikely in that area. I would not list that as one of the areas that I would consider to be one of the more unsafe parts of the city. If I'm just to be pretty clear, like downtown Minneapolis, US Bank Stadium, all these areas that, like, it's really important for this city that tourists can come to these places and feel safe and feel comfortable, and they're not going to let stuff happen in those areas and go unchecked. Like it's a priority. But I mean, as always, you're in a city, so unfortunately it takes two jerks to ruin your day and potentially ruin your life, or a car full of jerks driving around making poor decisions that can give everybody a bad time and give the city a bad rap. So many different reasons why these people are making these poor choices, but unfortunately it's a risk all over the place, and it is a risk in Minneapolis at times. I don't think it's as big of a risk as it's made out to be sometimes, but I mean, if I'm walking around, I've always try to be aware of what's around me. I say as I'm a guy walking around downtown Minneapolis with my cell phone in my hand, like not exactly flying under the prime target. Yeah, Juan, hopefully when you move here, you can stay, hopefully I'll stream more and I'll see you in the chat and you can tell me about what you're loving about the city and places you're enjoying. And here we go, here's Target Field. Wow, what a gorgeous night at the baseball stadium. I thought about walking around Lake Harriet and Bray Makaska tonight, but I think places like that are a little nicer when you have a little bit of clouds with your sunset. And I noticed it was just like kind of a cloudless night, so decided to just come downtown. There's always some sort of like yard games and different stuff going on out here on this upper level. Hey. Lots of people heading out already. It looks like it is 3 to 8. There's the new North Loop Green. Hey, Mina Ray, happy Monday. Love Minneapolis too. Glad you're here and checking out the stream. It's an incredible place and I'm so happy to be here today. There are days that I wonder why I'm here. Today is not one of those days. Hey, that's so cool to hear, Juan. Juan says definitely. I'm always watching your videos. Your videos are one of the reasons my wife and I are moving there. Hey, that's so cool. I'm so glad that I could give you a preview of a place that you're finding is going to be part of your story of your life and is going to be a place where you're going to be spending time at. Dahlia says, which are the safest neighborhoods in Minneapolis? It really depends on what we're talking about safety from and what aspects that's going to be. I would say, without a doubt, the Mill District's, incredibly safe overall. A lot of apartments and townhomes there. You get into like southwest Minneapolis where you're bordering Edina, another very safe area. The nicer areas like Kenwood and some of these spots, they are overall pretty safe. They are some of the spots that do get hit were getting hit, I should say, by the auto theft plague that we had for a year or so there, which I do believe is still going on, but I think it's been improving a bit. You see some of that throughout central South Minneapolis. I wonder if there's a concert going on tonight. Downtown overall is pretty safe. North Loop is very nice neighborhood if you're looking for apartment living, something semi-dense, access to everything. What's going on?
Hey,
Hey.
who went through that?
Who win the Twins? They're playing right now. I think 8-3. Yeah. Yeah, looks like we got like 6 or 7 buses here at Target Center. You can see a merch booth up there. Dahlia says, thanks. Yeah, you're welcome. I will openly talk about anything in Minneapolis related. Oh, they're playing Cage the Elephant. Is that who's playing tonight? Here is First Ave, the old Greyhound bus station that is now an iconic venue, made famous by Prince. Juan says, how true is the Minnesota nice thing a lot of people talk about? It's true, it's real. I think Minnesotans can be snarky, and I think that they'll, I don't know. I'm not from here, so it's kind of hard for me, but I think that people who are from here think it's like a unique thing, but I'm from Northern California, and I feel like people are pretty passive aggressive there too, to where like, I don't know, sometimes people here seem to mean well when they're saying something, and then like you really think about what they just said and you're like, hey, wait a minute, that was kind of rude. But I think of Minnesota nice as an issue that a lot of people do face here. I would describe that as Minnesotans will be friendly to you out in the street. They'll give you a high five, they'll smile at you, they'll wave. But they do kind of stick to their groups a bit. So there's a joke about how Minnesotans like don't make friends with people that they didn't grow up with, where everybody is just like, if you didn't go to high school with all these people, they're not gonna like let you get close to them. And I think you can kind of feel that a bit, but I also know tons of people who that's not true for. It's just, there are people who have come here and said they've had difficulty making friends and meeting people. But if you have interests, if you have things you enjoy, if you enjoy, you know, football, soccer, politics, photography, whatever, drinking, bars, craft beer, craft cocktails, whatever it is that, bike riding, whatever it is that you find valuable to life and you think is wonderful and drives you and motivates you and gets you excited to talk with people about something, if you find a group of people in this city, like there are so many groups of people who are in meetup groups for every little thing, whether when I first moved here, I used to play soccer with people a lot, and I made a bunch of friends through that community and through just playing pickup soccer and playing on soccer teams, and it's awesome. But if you come here and you expect people to reach out to you and try to like give you that super warm hospitality where they go out of their way to make sure that you are warm and welcome in every situation as a stranger, I don't think that that's something to expect. But they are very, like, Minnesotans are very kind and warm and welcoming, but it's just not going to come out of the blue. Like, you ask someone for directions and they'll do their best to make sure you can actually get somewhere. Like, I think it's pretty genuine. But when it comes to, like, wow, the streets are quiet tonight for 9 p.m. on a Monday, I guess it's a Monday, but yeah, I don't know. I hope that explains that well for you. I do think you kind of have to put yourself out there to meet people and make friends in Minnesota a bit. It's not like other places where you'll fall into a bit, but I also think I'm older, you know, mid-30s, and when you're in college or you're very active in like the nightlife scene and you are a regular at a bar or whatever, you're going to be able to meet tons of people that way. When I used to work at bars, I'd meet tons of people that way just because so many different people out and so many different people coming through. But here you really do have to find your community and put your feet down and make your presence known and show people that you're worth hanging out with and they're worth hanging out with, and hopefully build some good friendships. Hey, we've got Christian Brandt in the chat. Hi, Christian. Hope you're having a wonderful night. Hope you're enjoying Minneapolis. We are on Hennepin Avenue right now. We are at 8th and Hennepin. Coming up on the Skyway Theater here. Back when I first started, sorry, that's 7th, so we're coming up on 8th here. Back when I first started this channel 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago now, there was, all of Hennepin here was torn up. Portions of it were closed because they're rebuilding this bike infrastructure here. Some different concerts going on here. So this is Skyway Theater. I know they do a lot of like EDM dance, that kind of dance, upbeat type music, and they also do some of that like guar and rock and metal and stuff there too. So hard rock, EDM, dubstep, all that good stuff. This is 8th and Hennepin. There's your C line, D line, bus line. Yeah, thank you for asking, Juan. I appreciate you feeding me something to chat about. Here's the State Theater. Yeah, I gotta come out here some night right around when those theaters are opening up and we can see people out in the streets dressed up to go to their shows, to go see their plays. And now we're coming up on 9th and Hennepin, which 9th and Hennepin is the title of a song by the one and only Tom Waits. Very cool spoken word track by one of my inspirations in life, one of my idols, someone who I absolutely adore. Tom Waits has a song about Saturday night, 9th and Hennepin. Just really, really cool track. I highly recommend going and listening to that. I'm looking around here, thinking of this street corner and how that inspired him to write this cool song. You have the Orpheum Theater, the Saloon, a wonderful gay bar, Mackenzie's, which I believe is that like an Ohio-themed bar? I've gone into that bar during plays at the Orpheum and ran into some of the talent acting on stage, and I thought that was kind of cool. Hopefully I'm not blowing up their spot by saying that, but kind of the natural place to expect people after their show would be the bar next door. All right, what do we got in the chat here? We got Amanda says, we just moved here and we love it. but I found that sometimes people seem a bit put off when I say we're from Tennessee. Any idea why? I don't know. Minnesotans and people from the north like have all these preconceived notions about different states, and I think it's a very American thing to where the U.S. is different in many ways. It's the Alley Project by Modern Day Me, an art project. So the U.S., we're all different in so many ways. We have these states that have these intricacies, and many of us speak in slightly different ways, but as a whole, people in Minnesota, a state that is like 41% liberal and 51% liberal, 49% conservative. We'll look at a place like Tennessee or Texas that's like 52% conservative and 48% liberal or whatever, and act all uppity about this or that. And it's like, if someone comes to you and they're a genuine, kind person, and wherever they're from, you treat people with respect and you treat people the way they deserve to be treated. Like, I don't know, maybe they don't know enough about Tennessee. Maybe they have some belief about it that is inaccurate, or they had a bad experience there. But I know people here who went to school in Tennessee and who loved it, and I don't think being from Tennessee should be something that should be off-putting to too many Minnesotans. Hi, we got Benham here. Hope you're having a great day, Benham. And Amanda, yeah, you're welcome. I'm glad that thank you for watching the channel, and glad that I could get you excited about the city. So we're continuing down Hennepin here. Yeah, I don't know why Tennessee would be a specific thing that people would be stressed about here, but who knows? Wow, you got one block with both Pizza Hut and Domino's. Who would have thought? Beautiful views of downtown Minneapolis tonight. Yeah, Amanda, I do hope that you find a community and that people are welcoming to you, and that you find a place where you can feel at home here and accepted. Hey, Benham says they lived in Minneapolis in 1994 to 2000. Party over. $19.99. You got Minneapolis police right there. Don't let people tell you they don't exist. I see them every day, all over the place. It's definitely a cultural talking point amongst some, saying that we don't have police here. We have police. I believe they've had a record budget every year over the last few years. They just got new raises. Oh, Benham, no, Eli's is not open. Unfortunately, I think within the last month here, that closed. I want to say it was very recently. Yeah, did I just walk by, or are we coming up on it? Oh yeah, it was right back there. Hey, Mr. H, donating $4.99. Thank you so much. He says, been enjoying your videos. Thanks. I appreciate the donation. Appreciate the kind words. Love getting out, walking around, showing people Minneapolis, showing people Minnesota. to continue doing it. Can you guys hear those crickets? Talk about a quiet night in Minneapolis. Literal crickets chirping on Hennepin Avenue. All right, just a second. I'm gonna wipe off this camera real quick. I feel like there's a little lens flare. I want to make sure we don't have any smudges. Hang tight with me. There we go. Right on the right, you can see just a bit of the beautiful Basilica of St. Mary, one of the first basilica in the United States, I believe. Quiet night on campus, but it is midsummer, so. Hey. Tasha's Life in Fargo says, I do enjoy Minneapolis. I'd love to hear it. Good to see you again. I hope you've been well. I know you've commented, said hi in the past. Always good to see familiar names. Yeah, Dahlia says not too much hustling and bustling in this area. Definitely not right now. Definitely not on a Monday night. It is. Minneapolis doesn't have a crazy nightlife, in my opinion, as a whole. But definitely not a ton going on around here. There is the beautiful basilica. Yes, it is quiet. I think it's quiet. I think it's been quiet, but yeah. Benham says Minneapolis is awesome city. Correct. I agree. I've never been inside the basilica, but I really need to get in there someday. I want to make a video touring both the interior and exterior here someday, because I do absolutely love it, at least from the outside. Amanda says, are you from Minneapolis? Have you ever lived anywhere else? No, I'm not from here. My wife is actually from here. I'm from California. I met my wife in San Francisco, and we moved here shortly after having one of our kids, just to look for better cost of living. San Francisco was such an expensive city. We got priced out and came here. It's an amazing place though. I've also lived a few other places in California. Benham says, used to be a rocking city when I lived there on weekends. Yeah, I think if you go to that like theater district where we were a bit ago, Central Hennepin, on a weekend night, there's gonna be good crowds. I was out there on Saturday riding my bike through there, and you couldn't ride in the bike lanes because there were too many people on the streets, so it was just that crowded. You see like the rooftop deck there. It looks relatively full. I think there's a good crowd up there. Gliss, I am in South Minneapolis. I work in the North Loop. Spend time throughout a lot of different parts of the city. We are currently in the Loring Park area, walking down Fox Alley, which is one of my favorite alleys in the city, massively underutilized. Why are there not people sitting outside here enjoying this outdoor area? Why is this not like the coolest alley in the city with like string lights hanging above? This should be the spot. Like, I don't know what's going on, but this old, like, just close this off to cars, make this a spot where people hang out. I love this alley. Nice. Gliss also in South Minneapolis. So yeah, when we're talking about weekend, like the nightlife in Minneapolis, there's some people out in like Uptown. Lynn Lake tends to be pretty popular. I did work on that corner for a while. Restaurant scene is pretty decent. Guy Noi, a very popular new spot. Unfortunately, I have not been here yet, but if my wife is at home watching, we gotta make plans. Amanda Elf, so that is Fox Alley, F-A-W-K-E-S Alley. We are here by Loring Park right now. Guy Noi, which is this really popular new restaurant. You got the Basilica, Bar Lurkat on the corner here is another very popular spot. This whole stretch here is just fantastic, adorable. Highly recommend it. And then this is Loring Park. Used to be home to the Holodazzle Parade for a few years. Loring Park Art Festival. You've got Pride. What is this police car doing driving through the... Oh my God. You got the park police coming through, checking things out. I'm always uncomfortable by not necessarily parked police vehicles, but just any sort of city vehicle. Oh, there's like a big rat over there. Oh, you're not gonna be able to see it on you. The like city vehicles driving through stuff like this, because I had a horror story in San Francisco where I heard of someone who was like city vehicle was driving through and they did not see a child and unfortunately ran over, and the child did not survive that event. Incredibly tragic. But I understand the need for public safety and making sure that our parks are safe and having a way for the personnel to be walking through and checking it out. And it seems like their best way of doing that right now is via car. Oh, that dog park back there is great. Yeah, I actually kind of walked around the dog park because I wanted to come over here. But yeah, there's a really nice dog park over there. And this used to be a super cool fountain. Gliss, you're reading my mind. It's so much less intimidating to have, not like intimidating in terms of like being afraid of a park police officer when I'm just walking through the park, but like, I don't know, having a bike cop feels so much more, I don't know, so much less aggressive than a car does driving through there when you're in a space that's not meant for cars. But yeah, this is the dandelion fountain. There's a name for it. It's not just the dandelion fountain, but that you still look like a dandelion spraying water out, but who knows when that'll be back. But Gliss, that's kind of my my attitude with much of life. Why not just use bikes? But don't get me started. I started doing that 30 days of biking thing this year back in April. I saw someone on Twitter from the Joyful Riders Club. Their name is Patrick. They were talking about this 30 days of biking thing. I just want to talk about this actually corridor we're walking through right here. So this, I believe, connects us to Nicollet Mall. Really cool spot. I have not walked through here on stream before, so excited to pass through. But yeah, so I used to ride bikes a lot. Then when I moved to Minnesota, my bike, I left the garage open one day and unfortunately it got stolen. And then I never bought like a nice new bike. I just kind of bought like a super cheap one off of Facebook Marketplace or Nextdoor or whatever. And then only rode it like occasionally with the kids and stuff. And then I saw this 30 days of biking thing, and my oldest kid has been getting super into like, one, riding bikes, two, spending time with his dad, which like, I absolutely love that. And we tried to do the 30 days of biking this year. So we rode our bikes every day in the month of April. And I think that was a good way to like end winter. So we were able to ride together for at least a few minutes every day, whether it was riding to school or just going for rides around the neighborhood. Or I think it snowed 1 or 2 days, so we like took like a brief ride around the block. But we were able to do that, and then that kind of triggered it back inside of me to get me back out riding all the time. And now I'm back bike commuting and I absolutely love it. Juan says, I heard the winter are really rough. That is correct. I mean, no doubt about it. You got to get the right clothes and got to get the right gear. Got to prepare yourself and have fun and stay busy. But it's gonna be cold. If you're getting here in 5 days, enjoy the nice weather while we have it, because in about 4 or 5 months, well, let's see, it's mid-August, we're gonna be seeing some snow probably within 3 or 4 months. Oh, I don't remember who it was. I think it was Amanda who was talking about like getting in with Minnesotans. You guys want to get these Minnesotans talking? You ask them about this Halloween blizzard, they will open up and go wild. Like if they're Minnesotan and over the age of like 30, this Halloween blizzard is like this super like formulative thing for them. and there was like this big blizzard like decades ago, and they love to talk about this blizzard. It's a great conversation starter for a Minnesotan, is this Halloween blizzard. Christian Brandt, hey. Yeah, this is the Loring Greenway. So we are connecting through, coming through off of Loring Park. We took Hennepin Avenue all around. Now we are coming up on Nicollet Mall. Yeah, Benham says usually snows by Halloween. I would say we usually get at least a dusting at some point by Halloween. November, December tend to be on and off. Then after, typically by mid-December, early January, you can expect snow on the ground until March. Oh, see, I got one. Just Lurkin says 1991 Halloween blizzard was amazing. We had school off for a couple days. Yeah, so all these kids had these awesome formative experiences. Like, I think they got like over a foot or two of snow in this 1 or 2 day period. And all these kids got to have a great time. They got some time out of school. I was reading about it with my kid the other day. Apparently, like, over 20 people died, if I remember correctly. That was just off Wikipedia, and I just glanced at it the other night. But yeah, it was tragic. This is the Westminster Presbyterian Church. And here we are on Nicollet, which there are talks about removing the buses, there's already only taxis and buses on it, but we all know people drive on it whenever they want. There is talk of removing all vehicular traffic, including buses, off of Nicollet Mall. And I think if that's done and the infrastructure is built out properly, that would be a fantastic asset to the city of Minneapolis, having this like pedestrianized space where we can walk, gather, bike, enjoy, and not have to worry about getting hit by cars. It is important that if there's bikes on it, pedestrians don't have to worry about getting hit by a cyclist. As I step in front of this cyclist. You got PV Plaza over here. The fountains are off at the moment. I don't know what time they turn those off at. But it is 9:30 p.m. on Nicollet Mall in August 2024. Thank you all for watching so far. I have no idea how much battery life this phone has left. But if it dies, have a good night. I don't think it's gonna die anytime soon, but if it does, thanks for watching. Brits is still in business right here. Brits Pub. There's the moon. You got Brits, which has the rooftop bar and rooftop, I think it's got like a rooftop bocce ball or a big rooftop, I've never been up there, but it's got some sort of rooftop amenity that's beloved. Don't worry, we're staying on Nicollet Mall. Just want to look at the orchestra hall really quick. There was that, I think I did a stream about 2 months ago for the, what was it called? Promenade du Nord. There was a mini Eiffel Tower right here, but I didn't see it on the stream. I didn't know about it. There's like a maybe like 8-foot Eiffel Tower right there. There's like a historic clock in front of us, which is out of commission for some reason. It's been getting rebuilt for at least a few months now, I should say. Hey, there we go. Benham says, wow, memories. That's what I love to do. bring back memories, take you to a place you want to be, take you to a place you were, get you in those feels. Yeah, Nicollet Mall, very quiet at night. Not a ton of nightlife on Nicollet Mall these days. I know a few people who have gone out to try to do events and stuff out here, or just try to like hang out downtown and like, oh, let's just go to Nicollet Mall. And like, guys, people don't really do that as much anymore. You got to go to Uptown or other spots, but here on the left is the Dakota Jazz Club. Very cool event venue. Hey, Benham says this is everywhere they used to hang out. You are very welcome. Yeah, glad this spot is special to you. So Dakota Jazz Club. I don't know if I talked about this on last stream. I don't want to become too much of a repeater, but so I got tickets to this concert there the other day. There was like a Racket, which is like a local newspaper thing. They were giving away free tickets to see Jizza from Wu-Tang Clan, and I think I like retweeted the thing on Twitter and went in there. They gave me 2 tickets and I didn't have anybody to go with me, and ended up like just like inviting someone who was trying to buy a ticket on the way in to like, hey, you want to take it to this concert? I have a +1 if you want it. They ended up taking up that offer, but I thought it was like a venue, like a rock club, like where you just like separate or whatever, but it was like a seated venue. It's like a super nice kind of like date-like vibe. So I like kind of made this person come on to like this like nice little date to the Dakota. But awesome venue, really cool vibe in there, just not what I thought it was. A nice little crowd out here tonight, actually. Like, don't let them tell you Nicollet Mall's dead on a Monday night.
Andrew guy.
Al Zacks, hi from Boston, Massachusetts. Hey Al, hope things are going well in Boston, Massachusetts. We are outside of what is the Target flagship store, or should be the Target flagship store. Closes at 8 p.m. in downtown Minneapolis. I say that negatively. You got the pedicab over here. I saw one of these pedicabs over in South Minneapolis on Bryant a couple months back. I was riding down on there and they were outside of a senior citizens home, and they were pulling up on these pedicabs and giving the senior citizens free rides up to the Rose Garden up the street, which I just thought was so wonderful, because the senior citizens home had concerns about the street having one of the lanes converted into a 2-way bike lane, and I think initially we're against the reconstruction project, but seeing that like bike and pedicab community like go out and support these people despite them not being welcoming of these changes, I thought was really cool. And the Bryan Avenue bike lane is wonderful. I think I recorded that a few weeks back on the South Minneapolis bike loop. That was on a bike ride there. There is the Skyway, high above the busy little one-way. This is the IDS Tower, the tallest building in Minneapolis, which has been since the 1970s. Designed by Philip Johnson, I believe Johnson Berge. I don't know if Berge was involved with it actually. It is a Philip Johnson piece. You got this, the Downtown Street Art Festival. So this is what I was talking about along Nicollet. That was this weekend. I did not have a chance to come out and see, but it is still here, so. Got some boxes. Hey, Benham says my lawyer's office was on 52 in IDS. That's like either the top or the second from the top, right? Pretty high up there. I was able to get up there in IDS during the event called Doors Open Minneapolis pretty recently, where they let you go and explore windows on Minnesota. Wonderful views up there. Yeah, it'd be really interesting to see how that view has changed from what in the how that view has changed from back in the 90s to now. We got the Beverly Hills 90210 street art by The Chalking Dad. So this used to be Dayton's, which currently is the Dayton's project. Looks like there's Minneapolis themed mini golf inside here. I see the Fauché Tower, little basilica, Stone Arch Bridge. I think I see a Target Field back there. The North Loop de Loop, it says. You've got Spoon Bridge and Cherry. Obviously First Ave back there. And I don't know what that is behind First Ave. Oh, there we go. So you got the sculpture with the VR goggles on. One thing that's nice about Nicollet Mall right now is they don't have music playing. Sometimes when I walk around here, definitely for a few times in the past, I've tried to stream here on Nicollet Mall, and they've been playing music out of these speakers. It makes it kind of hard to see. That's a cool one. A Genius Art. A snake. I'm going to show this one to my kid. He's been super into snakes lately. Yeah, there's little people out. Dolly for Prez. There we go. We got Midway Creative. I was going to be amazed if that was still open. Yeah, it's lit up. I think it closes at 8. Yeah. I think there's a Whole Foods like a few blocks up this way, but I don't know if it's still open.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yeah, good luck. But yeah, definitely Google it first because I don't know.
Yeah.
Here we go. Yeah, I'm loving the sidewalk art. I know this weekend when they were doing the street art festival, there was like live music and stuff out here.
Yeah, I think so.
Stand for photo. And they even made the stand spot duck themed. We got the space dogs. Yeah, sure, go super close up with it. Why not?
Nobody gives a fuck. That's disrespect to women, dipshit. Good.
Oh no, Whole Foods closes at 9 and I just sent them up there. Thank you for that, Anchen. I was hit with 365 while calling for help. Wow, horrific stuff. Yeah, what would be open around here after 9 if they're looking for like Walgreens type situation? Well, it's unfortunate. People ask like, oh wow, why is downtown so quiet at night? And then you're out here like, where can I go if I need to get a toothbrush or need to go get basic stuff? And there's just no option. It's, I mean, a lot of this stuff just closes at night. I was talking the other day about hardware stores and how important it is for like a thriving community and thriving neighborhood to have a hardware store where like, all right, I got something I need to take care of in my house or apartment. I can just hop out and go grab whatever. And there's just no hardware store downtown or Northwood. It's unfortunate. Murray's. So there's Manny. Oh yeah, Benham says you go to Super America. I don't think Super America is a thing anymore. They changed names. It's like Speedway or Holiday or something now. But yeah, no more Super America. They rebranded. This is Murray's. So there's a couple, steakhouses here in Minneapolis. A lot of people will talk about Manny's. Manny's is like very notorious when football teams come to town, they'll go there after their game. When celebrities come to town, they go to Murray's or go to Manny's. But Murray's, home of the butter knife steak, that's the spot right there. My wife took me out there for my birthday this year. fantastic steak. We shared that silvered butter knife steak. Got a couple sides with it. It was so good. Hey, we got Collar Murray. That's my name. There we go. We gotta go in there and tell him you need some Murrays on the Murray tab, and see if they hook it up. There's plenty of people out. So we're back to Hennepin Avenue now. We walked down there by all the theaters earlier. As the sun set, we came over the Hennepin Avenue Bridge earlier. Hey, Kate says, thank you for this. I retired 10 years ago from Target HQ where I worked 20 years ago. Started at City Center, then we moved down the mall. That's awesome. Yeah, I will show everybody what the City Center building is. I had someone in my Twitter replies the other day saying that they want to see the City Center building torn down. Well, yeah, you know, it's all right. It's a piece of the Minneapolis skyline at this point. Hey there. So this building right here is the City Center building. Some view it as an eyesore. I think you gotta look closely to find some subtlety to it. It does have some nice little details on the side here that break it up a bit. The waffle building, there we go. Yeah. This guy is riding a scooter and singing and just living his best life. And I love it, and I'm jealous. Let's go see if Loon Cafe is still open. I know it is still operating. It was open on either Friday or Saturday when I was down here. You got Gluix, or I think it's pronounced Glix. The German restaurant here. They got a patio in the back. They will let you buy a non-alcoholic beer and sit out here by yourself on one of these tables for $4, which is awesome. Because that's what I did the other day when I was out riding my bike. We got the police with their lights on here. So this block right here is closed off every Friday and Saturday night from like 6 p.m. I'm making it up off the top of my head, the hours. It might be later than 6. It's like for the weekend evenings, it's blocked off from like either 6 or 7 till 3 in the morning or something like that. And there's like typically live music or a DJ or karaoke, at least 3 or 4 food trucks, different games, no alcohol, but just stuff for like you to do and hang out at, and a spot for place to be in downtown Minneapolis late at night. So say you're out at the bar and you want to go hang out somewhere for like a little bit while you're waiting for your Uber or whatever to get you home. It's just a spot to go grab a bite to eat. I think there's like mini basketball and stuff like that, like kind of carnival style games. It is sparsely attended, and I believe cost the city $750,000 if I remember correctly. So there are questions as to where that money's going, but conceptually the idea is there. So this is Loon Cafe. Looks like it might have closed down for the night already. Oh no, there's people in there. one of those spots that if you're watching a any sort of like a sporting event or anything in Minneapolis, at the football stadium, baseball stadium, whatever, if you're watching a televised event in Minneapolis, they do those like shots that build a sense of place, and that's one of the places that's often picked, often showcased. This bar here across the street, I think it's called Last Call. You go here on a weekend and this place is just bumping. Like these windows, there's just like people up there dancing and going crazy and music is blaring. This is like the party spot. Like I've never been in there. I don't know if it's like a good party, but I see like people partying pretty hard in there every time I go by on a weekend, and they're having a good old time. There's your warehouse district, Hennepin light rail station. What in the... No! Who did this? Make it stop. All kinds of clown stuff in there. Here we go, we got the blue line out. Pizza spot, a gyro spot. Right, we are back on Hennepin. Just walked by the brass rail, coming by Gay 90s, a lot of these like popular Hennepin Avenue clubs. I'm sure this street is vastly different than it was in the 90s for Benham here. Obviously the street reconstruction is very different, but have RBC Gateway, which used to be a parking lot, if I recall correctly. A lot of these new builds around here. Someone was asking about the football stadium down there. You can kind of see it. It's a ways down there though. Do I want to walk towards the football stadium and cross the Central Bridge when I go back across the river? Or do I want to look at the grain belt sign? You know the answer is the grain belt sign. That is a poorly locked bike. Venom says they build a lot of new high-rises. Yeah, I think that's the way to go downtown. There's no sense in building. I get it in North Loop where most of North Loop, hey, come on, man. You guys throwing a bunch of trash out in here. The North Loop where everything's like 5-6 stories tall, like doesn't make sense to be building a ton of high-rise stuff. But downtown where, you know, you got a lot of tall buildings, if you're gonna get rid of a surface parking lot, you might as well make it count. Make sure a lot of people can live there, a lot of people can enjoy it.
Yeah. And they said that he was supposed to.
So this building, the new one, the RBC Gateway. Hey.
TikTok live?
This was YouTube. It's called Walking Minnesota.
Oh, that's nice.
Am I on YouTube?
Yeah? You wanna say hi? Let me get you this mic. All right, what do you got for YouTube?
It's mid.
Do you have a lot of viewers?
No. I got 44, and we appreciate all of them.
Oh, that's
Live right now?
Yeah.
What's it called?
Walking Minnesota? Yeah. All right, thanks guys. Have a good night. Yeah, so this is Four Seasons, the RBC Gateway, the first, I believe, 4-star hotel in Minneapolis. A lot of nice amenities in there. Walked by there one day when there was a basketball game about to start, and I think saw the Golden State Warriors coming out of there. So it's important to have the sort of amenities in your city to where these luxury travelers have a place where they like to be. Spending more money in the city, bringing more money into the city.
Wait.
So we're here on Hennepin and Washington, two very central streets in Minneapolis. And there's the closed Whole Foods that I sent those people to. Wait, I shouldn't have walked over here. What if they're here and they're mad that I sent them to a closed place? I feel like I warned them enough that I didn't know what I was talking about. And I should make it clear, I don't really know what I'm talking about much of anything. Venom says, I think North Loop developed well, looks nice. My ex-girlfriend used to live there. Yeah, I think they've done a good job with it. I think there are people who have strong feelings about the North Loop, and I think if you bought there 10 years ago and invested in that neighborhood, you should have been investing in the plan for that neighborhood growing, because, I mean, 10 years ago you already had the baseball stadium, so I'm thinking more like 20 years ago. But a lot of these historic spots, like, well, you had to have expected that density to be coming, and it's not crazy dense. It's just sort of like what you see here, where that like 5-6 over 1, where 5-6 stories with ground level retail, be it a coffee shop, fitness center, a restaurant. Not a spot to expect a single family home or that style of living. There are some quieter townhomes closer to the river too. It's been about an hour and 45 minutes. I do suspect that the battery on my phone should be pretty low here. So my phone could die at any moment. If it does, as always, thank you for watching. Hopefully to be streaming again soon, more often, all that fun stuff. Probably will stream on my bike in the coming days. But I'm not turning it off, but if it shuts off, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know how to check my battery while I'm streaming. Scooter kids. Nicollet Island is cool too. Yeah, I love Nicollet Island. Nicollet Island is definitely like, if you have money and you want to live in Minneapolis and want to live in like a nice old single family home while still being central, but not being like in a super dense spot, that would be the place to go, but I don't know. I like South Minneapolis. I live in South Minneapolis and I like that area a lot. It's easy bike ride downtown. Plenty of great amenities. Good walkable, bikeable, and drivable too. Here we go, coming up on that Grain Belt beer sign again. The beautiful Hennepin Avenue bridge. There's these river boats. It's called like the Minneapolis Queen that goes around on the Mississippi River. They're like those old like white river boats with like the red paddle thing in the back. Yeah, Benham says Nicollet Island is kind of like a suburb in the heart of downtown. Yeah, kind of like, if you think of it in terms of like more single family homes as opposed to denser housing. But when you think of suburbs in terms of like sprawl and big box stores and chain restaurants and all that stuff, not so much. Oh, we got a drone right here. Here's the drone pilot. But yeah, there's these Mississippi River riverboats that I want to do I don't want to stream because I'm not sure how good the service will be on the water. And I would think I'd rather do like record the 4K quality and all that stuff. But I went to, was planning on doing one of those recently. Get that reflection on the water there. Gorgeous. Benham, was that sign lit up when you used to live here? I know at some point the sign, they let the lights go out and just stopped turning it back on. And then within the I want to say within the last decade or so, they put money back into having it lit again, which I think is awesome and really does make this bridge stand out as like somewhat of a iconic, quintessential Minnesota view. But yeah, this Mississippi River riverboat, really want to record that for the channel and go, well, I want to ride on it for myself too, if I'm being honest. But probably going to do that in a pre-recorded thing so that we can do higher quality. But I went to do it this weekend And I was looking at the website, and it said, like, we will not go out if it ends up not being, if we get less than 20 people signing up for the ride. And I was like, oh shoot, like, am I gonna go all the way down there and it's gonna end up being canceled? But then, like an hour or two before, it ended up being sold out. So I ended up not being able to go. So I'm gonna have to buy a ticket in advance and go out on it and make that video. All right, so we're crossing the Mississippi River, going from downtown Minneapolis into what some refer to as Northeast. Oh, the Pillsbury sign, yeah. That's, Benham says I think there was a Pillsbury sign too. We'll show that in a second if we can. So we're going from what is considered downtown towards what some call Northeast. I think it's better referred to as Central Hennepin, and then Northeast would be a little bit further north. So there's that Pillsbury's Best Fly. Whoa, that was weird. Quick transition. Over there on the old Pillsbury Mill. My phone just gave me a 10% battery notice, so it will probably die out at some second here. If we do make it, I'm gonna walk to a really cool bar and restaurant called Zora Darling. Awesome spot. Highly recommend eating there, drinking there. They do a lot of like small concerts there too. They do, I think, Sunday through Thursday. They have like a pretty good late night happy hour deal after 10 p.m. and their kitchen's open till 1 a.m., which in Minneapolis can actually be a bit rare. So having those spots that are open late, I think it's super important to be like supportive of and try to make sure to get out there when we can. We'll see if I can make it there on the stream. It's right next to there's some pretty hefty street reconstruction, redesign going up along Hennepin and First up here too. So they're getting hit, I think, a bit hard by that. But it's right next to Herbivorous Butcher, which is that vegan butcher. And they've been doing that vegan butcher thing for what, like a decade or something now. Pretty cool. Probably even longer than that if I remember correctly. Whereas like really leading the way in creative and innovative plant-based dining. Oh, there's that drone again. See it up there. Dialer says, good night, looking forward to the next stream. Yeah, thank you. Whenever I cut out, hope you have a good night and hope to stream soon. Like I was saying, maybe I'll do a bike stream this week. We'll see how that works. The gimbal gets knocked around a bit on my bike and can be a bit shaky, but we'll try one out. I like going for late night bike rides a lot. A little bit easier to get out on my bike after my kids go to sleep. It's My neighborhood in South Minneapolis is wonderful, but a little quieter, so not as appealing to the YouTube audience. See, all this has been over the last few months getting rebuilt. They're putting bike lanes in. They're pulling the car traffic down to different patterns to slow the traffic down to try to make it safer for pedestrians and cyclists in the area. Just trying to prevent those traffic fatalities. There's definitely some new infill and new buildings here in central Hennepin, northeast type area. Even in the year or so it's been since I recorded over here last. So one of these days I will be out again in this area. Benham says you should try Nye's T-bone steak. It's really good. It's like living 60s. So Nye's, I wish I could walk up there right now. Let's just go up there, whatever. So Nye's, I don't know if you're aware, but it's been redone. So it used to be that really like classic piano bar style thing. And then now it's significantly smaller. They cut it down into like a third of the size, if not less, and went from that like supper club polka bar vibe to just being a small little bar. I've heard of a place here in Northeast that's supposed to be a really good like steak supper club type spot. What's it called? Why is the name escaping me right now? Sometimes that'll happen. Shoot. It is not feeling like it's on the tip of my tongue either. I did recently just celebrate 100 years, whatever this spot is. It's here, it's in Northeast proper. Is it Jack's or Jeff's or something? 100-year-old supper club steakhouse that I've heard is like the spot. So I had a friend who recommended me Murray's, and they're like, or recommended Murray's over Manny's, and they're like, yeah, that's the spot. They're like, born, raised Minneapolis, die hard, ride or die Minneapolis. They love the city, just big advocate for it. And they told me to check that place out, and Murray's over Manny's. And after that, I trust them. So this is the new Nye's. It used to include the spot over here where it says Silver Fern. Used to be massively bigger. This here on the corner used to be like that polka and piano bar. You'd go in there and there'd be like a polka musician, it'd be packed, you're waiting to get your table. Now it's like just kind of a bit of a different vibe. Still a cool spot. Yeah. There's a famous Minnesota portrait. There's this famous photographer from Minnesota named Alex Soth. It's S-O-T-H, Alex. And one of his famous photos is taken inside the old Nye's. Really incredible photographer. Highly recommend checking out his work. I had the pleasure of seeing him speak at the Minneapolis Institute of Arts a year or two back. Might have been longer than that, I don't know. But really cool guy, really wonderful to listen to. His work is incredible, been featured throughout the world. Hammerchook Deli there. That's another great Minneapolis spot. This is actually a really good food block. You got Kramer Chook, Punch Pizza, just like a local, really high quality pizza chain.